Well, friends, it's a beautiful Sunday morning, but it's super hot. So as you can imagine, I do not want to spend all day in the kitchen. The plan is to spend 30 minutes. So I'm going to make this quick curry shrimp with aloo along with paratha roti. I needed a flour for the paratha earlier in the morning, so lunch came together in record time. If you want to see how I prepared this meal today, let's start cooking. I'm using wild caught shrimp, chemical free, means there are no additives or preservatives in the shrimp, just shrimp. I'm using large shrimp, but I prefer small or medium for curry shrimp. But in the Caribbean, we have a make-do culture, which means we use whatever we have. The ingredients are very simple. I have culantro, about 20 leaves. It's getting brown or dark, but it's still very good. Some thyme, about 10 sprigs of thyme. A lot of garlic. This is about 10 cloves, 10 to 12 cloves, and they're fairly small. 3 pimento peppers. If you don't have, you can eliminate it. I also have a hot pepper here. If you don't like heat, you don't need to use it. Half an onion and about 1.5 pounds of potatoes. And here is my shrimp. It's about 2 pounds of shrimp. It's already peeled and deveined with the tail off. I always keep a couple of bags of shrimp in the freezer for days like this. So it's easy to cook, put something together. And frozen is perfect because shrimp defrost in a very short time. This will only take a couple of minutes and then I'll start cooking. This will defrost much more quickly if you immerse it in water. And that only took about 2 minutes. First thing I'll do, I'll cut the pepper and set it aside because I'll cook this in the oil. Sometimes I get excited like today and use a whole hot pepper. The husband will not like that. Set it aside. Now for the onion. Removing very quickly. We'll use half to season the shrimp and half to cook in the oil. So I'm going to divide it. Put that aside. And this doesn't look too good, so I'll just cut off the top. This is pimento pepper, Caribbean seasoning pepper. It's not really hot. Prep is almost done. Just cut this. It's large enough to fit into your food processor. Place all those ingredients in except the onion. Place it in. And then we'll pulse. This is the seasoning. I'm going to measure out the seasoning so you'll get a general indication of how much I'm using. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I chopped it coarsely. If you have pre-made green seasoning, use about 5 tablespoons. 1, 2 teaspoons of Himalayan salt, 1 teaspoon freshly ground black pepper, and I'll mix to combine. You could remove any of those thyme sprigs. They were a little woody, so just remove them as you see them. Or try to use younger thyme. Allow this to marinate a couple of minutes. If you have time, you could marinate it overnight, but we're going to cook right away. We'll also add 1/4 of the onion. I also have a piece of tomato someone butchered and left it in the refrigerator, so I'm going to put this in so that it doesn't waste. And I just remembered I was the one who butchered it. I'll just mix, massage it in. Tomato is optional, but I like it. I also have this laying around the refrigerator, scallions. I'm just going to chop it up and add it to the shrimp. And this is real home cooking. This is how we do it. We find something and we throw it in. It evolves based on what's available. I cannot find my, what is it called? I cannot find my potato peeler, so I'm using a knife.
I repeat, I cannot find it. Do not attack me. I love using a knife anyway. See how easy that is? I'm just going to peel the potatoes. And they recommend using organic potatoes because potatoes are one of the dirty dozen, which means it contains a lot of pesticides, probably, and chemicals in the growing process. So I'll continue this and I'll be right back. And while I'm doing this, my pot is already on the stove. I have a 1/4 cup of oil in the pot. I'm just going to clean up, cut this into slices, and start the cooking process. Just cut the potatoes probably into 8s. All depends on how chunky you want your potatoes and your curry shrimped potatoes. Some potatoes, some pieces will contribute towards the sauce, and others will be nice when you're eating. Oops. And that's it. After peeling, it's about 1 pound and 4 ounces, just to give you an idea. The pot is now hot. I'll add a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Then I'll add the onion. And you can eliminate if you don't have the cumin seeds. You can always add jeera, powdered jeera at the end. You'll cook this until the edges become brown. While that's cooking, I have the remainder of the green seasoning there. I'll add 3 tablespoons of the curry powder. Hopefully you can see that. And a little bit of water. And mix it to combine. Now I'll add in the curry. The heat is on low. I'll stir it to combine, and I'll cook this for about 3 to 5 minutes until the curry is grainy, fragrant, and it separates from the oil. You can add different curry powders like duck and goat curry powder or achar masala or cumin. I want to keep this simple so that anyone can try it. Now I'll add in the potato. Stir it well to coat it with a delicious curry paste. You want to make sure that the potato is cooked first so that we don't risk overcooking the shrimp. Even though I can eat the shrimp if it's overcooked, but some people have delicate taste, whatever it is. I'm going to add a little bit of water just to help the potatoes cook more quickly. I'm going to cover the pot and cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes, so until it's tender, but still firm. The potatoes have been cooking for about 15 minutes. It's beginning to stick. It's cooked. And you know it's cooked because when you cut through it, it goes through easily. It's still firm, still whole. The sauce is beginning to form, a nice, thick, luscious, delicious sauce. Now I'll add in the seasoned shrimp. We'll stir it to combine with that delicious sauce we've started making. It smells lovely already. I'll cover it and cook it on low for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll taste for salt. One more very important piece of information, you do not add any water yet because that shrimp may or may not spring a lot of water, and you don't want this to be too runny. You want a nice thick sauce, so give the shrimp some time to see what it's capable of doing, and then we'll adjust from there. The shrimp has been cooking for about 10 minutes. As you can see, it's released quite a lot of liquid, but we wanted just a little more because we're going to eat it with roti. We're going to add just about a cup of water. Stir it. Taste the salt. It needs about a teaspoon more of salt for my liking, our liking. Oops. Just remember, it thickens as it cools. I added 1 teaspoon more salt and 1 cup of water. It's coming along nicely. Has a little more than 4 minutes left. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of roasted cumin, also known as jeera, and that's optional. Just to develop the color a little bit and add a nice toasty flavor, earthy flavor. It's beautiful. This is going to be really delicious. You can have it with white rice. I'm going to make a paratha or two. And for the later meals, we'll have it with white rice, a freshly steamed jasmine rice. We'll also eat this with Paratha Roti. I'm adding another teaspoon of cumin. Mix it in. You can flavor it now with anything else you like. You can also add bandania or chopped scallion to finish it off, or cilantro. And the timer is going on. This is what it looks like at the 15-minute mark. It's done. It's time to eat.
I needed the dough for the paratha roti earlier that day, and now I'm going to wrap the dough. Full recipe for my delicious paratha roti is on cookingwithria.com, the blog, or on YouTube. I will leave the link below. Next, I'll rub the surface of the dough with butter, and if you're vegan, you can use coconut oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, or any other vegan butter of your choice. Next, I'll sprinkle the dough with flour to ensure those lovely layers, and I'll roll the dough into a cone and tuck in the ends. I'll allow it to sit for 10 to 15 minutes until it's ready, and then I'll roll it out. I rolled out the dough using a bilna or a rolling pin. I slapped the dough on the tower, stretched it into shape, a round shape, brush it with butter, flipped, brush the other side with butter, flip again, and cook until it's no longer raw. Once the dough is fully cooked, the beating process begins. Beating the roti with a dabla as seen here, or tapping it between your hands like the Guyanese do, will separate the layers. The finished product will look like a torn t-shirt, hence the name Bus Up Shot or Paratha Roti. Soft, tasty, and so delicious. It's all there is to eat, my sweet friends. Curry shrimp and aloo and Bus Up Shot Paratha Roti, Trini style. Hope you enjoyed being in the kitchen with me as much as I enjoyed cooking for you today. If you're a shrimp lover, please let me know what other shrimp recipes you'd like to see. Until next time, stay safe, be well, cook, share, and love. Bye bye.